It was another great night for the New Jersey Devils. Kids in the Prospects Challenge beating the Buffalo Sabres in their own, I think, practice rink. I believe it is. I think it is a practice rink by a score of 4-2. Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And what a game. What a game, guys. We were entertained tonight by some of the, at least, future New Jersey Devils. Jakub Malek getting the start in net. Solid performance for him. 26. Let me see if they updated these stats. I believe it was 26 saves on 28 shots. Let me just double check. A lot of times these things will change. Yep, 28 shots, 26 saves, giving him a goals against of what the hell just happened here? Of a flat. What am I looking at? 2 goals against of 2. Sorry, the screen jumped up. Save percentage 929. Solid outing for Malek. Solid outing for a lot of guys. Devils win. Love to see it. And they will be in position to win the tournament, I believe, with a win over the Bruins on Sunday. That would make if they win, they'd be 3-0, and I think their goals differential, even if someone else was 3-0, they would win the tournament, I believe. But solid game. We get to the scoring. Wasn't a great start for the Devils. They did look a little sluggish. Buffalo was kind of taking it to them. They were moving it around in the zone. A lot of traffic in front on that first one. They get a shot, and I don't think Malek ever saw it. Sabres up 1-0. Later on in the period, what a play by training camp. One of the biggest hopefuls of camp, I think, to make the team is Hameenaho. I think he's going to have a great chance. But chips the puck up the boards to get it in the O-zone. He takes a hit, takes the contact. He knocks over the Buffalo defender, continues to drive to the net. He gets a nice pass in front and buries his chance. What a beautiful hockey play by Lenni Hameenaho. And he's one of the guys I've said, and like many others, he's a guy to watch in camp and preseason, looking to crack this lineup some way, somehow. Great play by him to tie it up at 1. And then towards the end of the period, Carabas, who has seemed to be everywhere tonight. It's been a great couple games for him. He gets a nice pass from Jimmy Dow Jr., and he just goes hard to the net, and he finishes on the backhand. What a move from Carabas. Gives the Devils a 2-1 lead late in the first. And we go to the second. Devils up 2-1. Buffalo just gets tons of traffic in front again. A shot from the point gets through Malek. I don't think he ever saw it. Game tied at 2. That is how the second period ended. We go to the third, tied up at 2. And Devils on a power play. Devils moving it around. Shot down low. The puck pops up. And my man Shane Lachance bats it out of the air for a beautiful power play goal. What a play by Shane Lachance. What a couple games it's been for him. I'll talk about him more in a couple minutes. But Lachance gives the Devils the 3-2 lead on a beautiful, beautiful goal. Love the hand-eye coordination. Bats it out of the air. Devils up 3-2. And then towards the end, Buffalo looking to get the goalie out. They blow a clearing attempt. I think it was Campbell gets the puck down low to Squires. Squires puts on a little move, backhands it across to Lachance for a goal. 4-2 Devils. That is all she wrote, my friends. Closing out the scoring. 4-2 Devils Prospects win. And we get, just to show you we'll look at the points here. Shane Lachance, a goal and an assist for 2 points. Jimmy Dow Jr. an assist for a point. Cam Squires with an assist for 1 point. Campbell an assist for a point. Malofsky an assist for a point. And Lenni Hameenaho with that beautiful effort leading to his first goal as a New Jersey Devil at any level. It comes in Prospects Challenge Game 2. And again, he's another exciting one to watch. But wow. What a game. Entertaining one. Good amount of hits. I'm going to go my 3 stars. The third star, I'm going to go with Carabas. He had a goal that gave the Devils a 2-1 lead at the time. He was buzzing all over the place. Carabas with the third star. The second star goes to Jakub Malek. 26 saves on 28 shots. A solid outing from him, if not for some unfortunate screens and horrible visibility. He could have potentially had a 1-goal game or a shutout, but it is what it is. It's hockey. It happens. Jakub Malek, 26 saves on 28 shots, is the second star of the game. And the first star, it should be no surprise, with a goal and an assist for 2 points. The first star of the game, Shane Lachance. Come on down. And how can you not love this kid? Shane Lachance, guys, is a player. Oh, he's a player. Gotta love this kid. He's got the heart, the grit, the hustle, going to the corners, hitting guys, fought the last game. He should have had 2 goals the last game, actually. They screwed him on that one. But officially credited with a goal in each of the first 2 games. 3 points for Lachance now in the 2 games with a fight. Continuing to just make his case. He scored a goal actually back in development camp. So it's crazy for Lachance and a couple other guys that kind of fit into this weird kind of category that there's not many other guys in. He was a guy that was at development camp with a bunch of the other kids in July. So development camp was kind of the first thing for him this going into the season. He had development camp in July. Now he's got this prospects challenge, and then he's going to be at regular training camp and playing some preseason games. And so he has, the most opportunity, and he has been impressive at every step. In development camp, he looked pretty good, was all over the place. He scored a goal in the scrimmage on the final day of development camp, and now picks up right where he left off in development camp in the prospects challenge. And hopefully he finishes with a great showing on Sunday and just rides this momentum into training camp, into the preseason, as he looks to fight his way onto this roster. And I've been rooting for him. And so far, man, I mean, he's been hard to deny. Just a true gritty player that you'd love to see with the amazing hands. I mean, his goal in the last game was crazy, in tight with that finish, and then showing the hands again tonight, batting that thing out of the air. I think it was Sam Kassan had mentioned during the stream broadcast tonight that Lachance was out there at the top of the crease practicing batting pucks like on his own with, whoever after the official practice. You'd love to hear it. Guys that want to win, they're putting in the work, working on the craft, and it pays dividends. And you saw it tonight. Just a beautiful hand-eye coordination finish on the power play. Shane Lachance, my number 1 star, one of my favorite New Jersey Devil kind of hopefuls, prospects, rookies, whatever you want to classify them as. And that should not come as a surprise to anyone. You guys know the types of players I love. And Shane Lachance, throwback player. But we're going to get to the comments here. Thank you very much, Bobby, with the super chat. What's up, Ace? How you doing, brother? Yeah, it's only the prospect tournament, but I've been impressed with a few guys, mainly Hameenaho, Lachance, Diot, and Lecomte, and Malek looked comfortable. Yeah, I could not agree more. Hameenaho, kind of quiet the first game. Beautiful finish on the goal tonight. Looking for big things out of him in camp and preseason. Lachance, I just talked about him endlessly. What can you say about this guy? Looks like he could be close. It's hard to say, right? I want to see what he does, in the preseason against more stiffer competition, if you will. He kind of looked like he's it's a different world what they're playing in right now, but he's looking great, and hopefully it just continues on as the competition kind of increases for him, going from this prospects challenge to NHL preseason. Diot, yeah, I mean, what a first game he had. I think he had 2 goals and assists the last game. Looks like he's tries to fire pucks on net from all over and anytime he can. He had no points tonight, but he seemed pretty solid and made some big plays on the penalty kill. Liked his game. And yeah, Lecomte's just tearing up the score sheet too. I don't know what his future is. I believe he's unsigned and undrafted, if I heard Maddie correctly. But yeah, there's some guys to be excited about. And I do think Hameenaho and Lachance, especially with injuries, there's a chance we see one or both of them at some point this season on the big club. But thank you very much, Bobby. Really appreciate it. Pyro, hopefully he gets some 4th-line minutes this season. I would love to see it. I'm rooting for the kid. I would love to see Lachance bully his way onto this Devils roster and onto this team. I do believe, at least in development camp, he seemed pretty comfortable at center. And can he possibly emerge as a 4C for the Devils? I mean, why not? Why not? I'm just trying to check something else out here. But even as a winger, would love him in the bottom six. I think, like I've talked about endlessly, he brings a lot of those elements that we don't have in the lineup, and I would love to see him. Big boy, good hands. He's got that snarl in him. You can't teach that. You can't teach that. Bobby says Hameenaho will definitely get called up. No, I think that if they don't make, for both of them, honestly, probably Hameenaho and Lachance, if they do not make the team out of camp, they would probably be the first two guys, or at least, two of the first 3 or 4 called up from Utica. There's a lot between now and then, obviously, like how do guys look in camp? How does the coaching staff kind of rate them? How do they look in preseason games? How do they perform in Utica once they're there, etc.? But if I'm a betting man, those are, if they're not on the Devils roster to start it off, they're amongst 2 of the first Comets called up when injuries happen. And unfortunately, with the way things have gone the past couple seasons, it seems inevitable that there will be injuries. I mean, for any team, right? But it just seems the Devils have been cursed kind of extra in that department in the past couple of seasons. But hopefully we stay healthy. Hopefully we stay healthy, but both of these guys, I think, will be looking to crack the Devils lineup one way or another in the somewhat near future. Pyro, bottom 6 going to be pretty chaotic. Some chances there. Yeah, I there's a lot of, I guess as Fitz likes to call it, a lot of competition, and I don't think it's hard. There's not really too many spots up for grabs, honestly, and it might take like a shocking kind of move for one of these guys to make it right away. But John, I agree with those 3 stars, Ace. Yeah, the third star, I feel like I could have made the case for Hameenaho. A couple other guys you could have made the argument, but I think Carabas really just was more noticeable. It just kind of buzzing all over the place. And so with the goal, I had to give it to him. Yeah. Had to do it. Robbie's bench boss. John NJ Devils 45. What's up, Devils Nation? Cheers. Let's go, Devils. What's up, John? What's up, Lachance? Lachance running wild. John says, do we know, is Bennett going to get the go Sunday since he backed up Malek tonight? Good question. Good question. I don't know. That your guess is as good as mine with that. It's possible. It's possible. I also could see Brennan or Malek getting the start too. I would like to see Malek get it, but the tournament is on the line. I don't know how much anyone cares about winning it, but with a win, they would win the tournament. They would have to. 3-0, and then because of the goal differential, like I said, if anyone else, I haven't seen what the other teams did, but even if someone else was 3-0, I mean, we waxed Columbus 8 goals. That's Jason, Jakub needs a nickname. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, I pinned the comment at the top. I did an interview with him earlier in the summer after development camp. Super nice kid. Had a great conversation with him. If you haven't seen that interview, check it out. It's pinned at the top of the chat here. John said, did SST go to Bettersy in the shadows like always? Jason, no, I'm surprised Lachance isn't playing center. We'd have a better chance to play center given our depth. Yeah, maybe it was just, honestly, it could just be a function of the roster of guys in Buffalo where they figured the best roster, was with Lachance on wing. But he was taking faceoffs for sure at development camp in the scrimmage. I remember that. He was definitely taking faceoffs. And so he definitely is capable. I don't recall how he performed on the faceoffs. There wasn't a ton of them. And again, it was kind of like a chaotic final day scrimmage thing. But I think the potential is there. And if, they think he could fill in at center, I think they'll try him there. It'll be very interesting to see what, where they kind of have him in training camp. I look forward to seeing all that stuff. And then obviously preseason. I'm very excited for this preseason. I've talked about it before. I love preseason because I do like to see, the guys that you might not see during the regular season that are either going to be in the AHL or they're just, guys on the bubble almost, if you will, or in some cases, young kids that aren't ready for the NHL, but they're getting their first little taste of NHL action in the preseason before playing in the minors or somewhere else. I do like to see that, to see guys early and just kind of get a feel for some of the future Devils. I've always enjoyed the preseason. And then back in the day, obviously, as I've talked about, preseason games were just bloody affairs. There was usually in Devils Rangers, I would say in the mid to late 90s, Devils Rangers preseason games, there was probably 6 fights per game. It was just spectacular, must-see theater. Devils Flyers, you'd see 4 or 5 fights easily in the preseason. But I always like seeing the young kids. And so this year, especially, obviously we're going to get our first look at Gritsuk. I'm very excited to see that. I'm curious to see how Hameenaho and Lachance and hopefully Edwards and some of these other guys look in an NHL preseason game. And so I'm super jacked for this preseason for sure. More so than other preseasons, I think. And maybe that's just a function of just being thirsty for our team to be good and just looking for, hope. And some of these young kids overperforming would be phenomenal. Pyro says Lachance taking the heavier, edgier, more violent torch from McDermott. Well, I mean, if Lachance makes the team and actually plays, he would take the torch because Keefe is not a huge fan of playing McDermott. Jason says, I think so. Our center depth isn't strong at all. Yeah, I'd say that's an understatement. I mean, I'm hoping Lachance could kind of leapfrog Juho Lammikko on the depth chart. I know Juho Lammikko, a lot of you got a lot of hopes in him, but if I'm being honest, I'm a lot more excited about a kid like Lachance than Juho Lammikko. SJ, Lachance has it all, size and very smart, always in front of net, knows how to use his size. Yeah, can't state it enough. This kid is a true hockey player. Does it all, hustles. I think, I don't know if it was a penalty kill, or maybe it was even strength, but I thought it was a penalty kill. He fully dove, like a full extension Superman with the stick, trying to break up a play. Like, just hustle and grit. We'll do what it takes to win. He dropped the gloves last game. Yeah, man, you gotta love a guy like this. He's just a throwback. He'll do a little bit of everything, and those hands are lethal. John Fay, I wonder if Lachance gets a shot in preseason. I don't see why he shouldn't. I mean, he looks like he's ready. Oh, he's definitely going to play at least a couple preseason games. I would be willing to wager a lot on that. Let's see what he could do with it, but he's definitely going to get in some preseason games. Jason says, I think Hameenaho is still raw. Yeah, it's very possible that he's not ready yet. Luckily, we're not dying for anything from him, and he's only 20 years old still as well, super young. But I think we have a lot of eggs in the Gritsuk basket, if you will. A lot of hopes and dreams are going to be kind of contingent on Gritsuk performing. Bobby, what's up? Lachance's future with the Devils is bright, super bright. It's why I have my shades on. The Devils' future is super, super bright. Jason, now let's hope. You never know what they're going to look like in the NHL. Yeah, obviously, you're now going from very competitive hockey to the most competitive hockey on the planet when you're playing in the NHL. The greatest players on earth in that league. And some guys it doesn't translate, but I'm hoping for some of these guys, man, yeah, Gritsuk is an interesting one. Maria, remember Lachance being good at faceoffs and development camp remind me of Mikey. Yeah, I knew he was taking draws. I don't think it was nearly enough for me to remember, but yeah, Maria, I believe you if you thought he looked good. Jason, you heard Kaprizov's going to be a Ranger. Oh, that'd be brutal. If Billy G trades him to the Rangers, oof. But who wants to pay that money? I like the way Guerin operates, and for you old timers, who remember Billy Guerin, 1995 Stanley Cup champion, was on the 1996 World Cup of Hockey team that beat Canada in the finals. I mean, just an absolute dog. Love Billy Guerin. Wish we could have a couple of players like him on our roster today. I mean, the quintessential power forward. Loved Billy G. Unfortunate the way his time with the Devils ended, but he has become a pretty damn good executive in the world. And I always thought that he was kind of one that got away, both for his playing career. Would have loved for him to retire a New Jersey Devil and play out his whole career as a Devil. But beyond his playing career, he was with the Pens for a while, got a couple cup rings there, I believe. And now he's the GM of the Wild, and he's also the GM of Team USA, Mr. USA Hockey. So Billy G, man, what a post-playing career it's been for him. But I like his approach. He's like, this guy's trying to, again, I can't follow all the reports, but the report was, he turned down $16 million a year for 8 years, $128 million. Like, if I'm Billy Guerin and I offer a guy that contract to make him the highest paid player ever, and he rejects it, I'm asking him for his no trade list and shipping his ass immediately too. I don't blame Billy Guerin at all. Like, you don't want to be here. You want to extort the franchise for some ridiculous money. Get the hell out of here. And supposedly he's going to be on the move. I don't know who wants to pay him that money. Wouldn't be shocked if the Rangers did. I would obviously hate to see him there. I hate to see the Rangers get any player that obviously is going to make them a better team and, potentially haunt the Devils for years to come. But wouldn't surprise me. I also believe that they're still hoping they're going to be in the McDavid sweepstakes if it comes down to it. John, I'm surprised we didn't hear Casey's name more than probably once tonight. Either he wasn't playing or just had a quiet night. So Seamus Casey did not play, John. Jimmy Dow Jr. took his spot. Casey probably won't play in the next game either. They probably just wanted to give him one game to kind of get the rust off a little bit before training camp in the preseason. He's another guy, who's kind of in a weird spot in terms of his path to a roster spot on this team. And he's going to be looking to hit it with a vengeance in training camp and preseason. Yeah, Edwards. I like Edwards. He was another one of the guys that I said, kind of stood out to me every time I've seen him live. He had a pretty big hit today. And there was also one that I meant to go back and try to watch that I don't even think anyone on the broadcast talked about. And it was like, as the camera was panning, it was almost like off camera. Like it just probably caught in frame at the end. There's a big collision. I think it was in the first period. I got to see if I could go find it. But Edwards laid the boom on somebody today. You absolutely love to see it. Give me anyone who could throw hits, but I love defensemen that throw hits. And he crushed somebody for sure. Yeah, yo, Holmes, what's going on? Don't forget our new secret weapon, Angus Crookshank. You can't forget Crookshank. Someone's going to buy a Crookshank jersey. Faye, that Edwards guy played with some grit, and I still can't believe now we have a player by the name Angus Crookshank. Yo, Holmes likes Lenni Hameenaho. I do too. SJ, it is crazy that we got Lachance for free, basically, for playing banker on the Oilers Bruins deal that sent Frederick there. Kind of an afterthought. But yeah, I didn't think much of it at the time, obviously. And then, like I said, I was kind of following BU closely because of Coach Jay Pando, Devils legend, and Big Mike Yegorov in net. So I was very intrigued by Boston and watched a bunch of their games. And, after that all happened, obviously was keeping an eye on Lachance. And, I saw all the same things you're seeing now. Saw it in college. How can you not like a kid that plays that kind of game? There's not too many guys out there that could do all of those things and be willing to do it. Hokage, not much time before the season starts. Hopefully they figure the Luke situation out. I think that's gonna get resolved one way or another. I'm very curious to see where it lands when it gets announced. Hopefully it's the 8 years. If I'm a chance, I'm begging for a shot at Rempe. I don't know if he's ready for that. Even though Rempe's not the greatest fighter, he is a big boy with a long reach. But yeah, he gets tagged up a lot. That would be funny if Lachance kicked Rempe's ass. That'd be pretty funny. Bobby, we traded him for Glass back in March, but I've seen Stillman play lately, and he has really impressed me. Wish we had kept him, especially considering we gave him up for Glass. I like Stillman. It just seemed like it was never going to pan out for him. I don't know. Another potentially bad, or it seems a bad first-round pick for Fitz. But when he was in juniors, there was a video that was going around, and I think it was in a playoff game where he absolutely crushed this kid with a hit, crushed him, knocked him down, and potentially out. And then one of the guy's teammates came over and tried to fight Stillman, and then Stillman beat the wheels off the guy. And then both the guy he checked and the guy he fought both went down the tunnel into the locker room after the sequence. It was unbelievable. I freaked out when I saw that. Obviously, I'm going to love a guy after I see a clip like that. But Stillman, very curious to see if he ever becomes an NHL regular anywhere, if he just becomes another kind of tragic tale. Jason, no, we turned down $16 million. Yeah, they might have to trade him. They probably will. John NJDevils. Billy Guerin was a beast. He's a hell of a GM. Great point. I see. I love Billy Guerin. Love Billy G. Loved him when I was a kid. What a guy. Billy G. Yeah, Billy was the captain of the Islanders for a hot minute. He kind of did a tour. He played for a lot of teams after he left the Devils. It was a bit of an NHL tour that stopped in Edmonton, Boston, Dallas. I think he played for the Blues, Sharks, Isles, Pens. He made his way around the league. But miss guys like Billy G. Complete throwback to a better era. Pyro, Tampa Bay Lightning could see that being a Kaprizov destination. I have no idea about their cap space. situation. But assuming they had cap space, it seems like a place a guy like him will fit right in. I mean, but I'm curious how many teams are looking to pay him $16 million. And honestly, if he gets $16 million, what the hell's McDavid going to ask for? Interesting stuff. John, you think the Metro is the weakest division? It definitely is in the conversation. It probably is. It probably is. Yeah, Jason Snow says it's the weakest. John, I feel like Kaprizov is going to be a Shark because I'm pretty sure they have the money to get him. They do, but would he want to go there to a team that's just kind of, ugh? Well, who knows? Maybe he's all about money. There are guys like that, and I don't want to slander them, but, you know, not my kind of guys. I don't want a guy that's just looking for top dollar and doesn't give a shit where he's playing and, you know, just in it for the money. Jason says supposedly Kaprizov has a bigger offer, he thinks, according to Freeman. Has a bigger offer where? Jason said, don't give Fitz much credit for Lachance. They let him go because he told the Oilers he didn't want to sign there. Well, I'm not going to ever give him too much credit for a thing like that because the reality is if his father wasn't a scout, would he have even been on our radar? Like, so to me, I give that more to the credit of, I would call it like circumstance, because his father is a scout for the Devils. And hopefully that's just one of these weird things that works out. But I think that was probably the motivating or driving kind of force behind that whole thing. Zebra Games, what's going on? Yo, Holmes, Ace, what do you think Boozeface will do with Big Mac since Keefe will never play him? Buy him out? I don't think they will. I don't know, man. It is a messy situation. I forget all the rules, and the shit's always changing. But I think potentially he could be sent down to the minors. And I think it wouldn't count against the cap. I have to look into it. But I feel like his money can be buried in the minors one way or another. And if that is the case, I have to look into it. I forget what all these rules and different things. But if his money can be buried in the minors, it 1,000% should be, because they're not going to play him. And so why? And as much as that sucks, I'm sure McDermott, probably doesn't want to do that. I'd be curious. And a guy like in that position, like, would he rather go play in the AHL or just kind of chill and be around the NHL team and practice with the NHL team, but never play? That probably is the better life, if we're being real. NHL life and AHL life are very, very different. Send him down to the A. Yeah, if his money could be buried there, it might be the no-brainer. Robbie's bench house. Fitz signs Kovacevic and Dylan and Pesci, and Connor Brown paints himself into a cap crunch, and now we don't have room for Luke on an 8-year deal without making a move. Go figure. I'm not too worried about it, because even at $9 million, I think we have $6 million in cap space now. Even if Luke signed long-term at $9 million, that means we need to free up $3 million. I think there is probably multiple ways to go about it. But you could potentially clear up a little over $1 million with the McDermott move. And then you got to start sharpening your pencil. And that, is that kind of a catalyst to Palat? But I think Palat's going to be here all year. So who knows what the play is after Kovacevic comes off of LTIR, or perhaps, and this is just kind of conspiracy theory, whatever. Is there a chance that like Kovacevic doesn't play like longer than people even are anticipating? Is that possible? Are they not, are they like Kovacevic might be back for the playoffs kind of thing? Is that a possibility? Bobby says, obviously, I'm sure you saw, according to the GOAT, Elliot Friedman, contract talks with Luke have turned very positive. Yeah, I saw that. But like all these reports, man, I just want to see the deal announced at this point. Like what is changing fundamentally from either side? It's basically just all bluffing. And that's why these things always come down to the wire, because everyone's just bluffing, hoping things are going to go their way. And then they just wait till the very last minute. And then people have to start making concessions. Pyro, a little off topic, but NHL 26 came out. I'm stocking up on a part of a Devils theme team. Got Lemieux and Meyer so far. Nice. I have no idea what that is. I haven't played video games in forever. They're just too complicated for me now. Robbie's bench thoughts. Not saying those signings aren't good, but when you're planning on securing a core piece, maybe don't overspend on depth until that's done. I think I feel like they have to have some idea of what they're doing, because that obviously was, they knew about the Luke situation going into all of these things. So yeah, I am curious to see how it's ultimately handled in terms of the cap space. But like I said, maybe they're not letting on that, they know that maybe Kovacevic is going to be out much longer than anyone thinks. And so they're just like, we'll figure it out later. Fitz got a promotion with the Devils. I saw something, but is that technically a promotion? Bobby says, Robbie, I slightly agree with Pesci as a game changer for us on day. Yeah, Pesci was great. Really helping Luke develop. Smart player. Bobby says, why not play Big Mac? I personally like the grit he brings. Yeah, but it's just the offense is kind of non-existent when he's out there. I mean, it's tough. He's kind of playing a role that doesn't exist on most teams, and I would like to see more of him, but he is fairly limited, and for whatever reason, Keefe is not a fan of it. The other thing I like when he did play, obviously, the aside from the element he brings, is that some of the top dogs could pick up extra shifts when he's in the lineup. I always like the idea of a little bonus time for Brader and Jack. And don't forget our other defensive mastermind, Dennis Chalowski. Zebra. I remember trying to get you to 1,000. The first live, the OG setup, and it's been a while since I watched you. I've been busy. Oh, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I remember you from a long, long time ago. A long, long time ago, Zebra. So that'd be crazy if Kobe's out till April. I'm not saying that's the case, right? I'm just speculating. Like, if that's a thing, maybe they thought that was going to be the first time they were going to expose the LTIR loophole, and now it got closed. So now we're screwed. That would be pretty funny. They're like, all right, we're just going to keep Kovacevic out until the playoffs and then activate him, and we don't have to be compliant with the cap. But surprise, it changed. Pyro, teams of cap space for Kaprizov. So far, I see are Chicago and Anaheim, but Detroit's up there too. Oof. I mean, things could also change as well with the trade, obviously. You're just looking at teams with cap space now, but that's not taking into consideration the cap dollars that would be going out when they trade for him. I'm convinced SST went to bet ace. Maybe. Bobby, any reason why Big Mike isn't at the prospect tournament because he's still in college? Yeah, I'm not sure if college players are eligible. No, the college players are eligible, I believe. That's actually, let me see. I don't know. I tried to look up the rules. I mean, the criteria the other day, and it's not easy to find. But even if he was eligible, maybe they just didn't want to interfere with his, he's probably in classes and shit now, like just getting back to college. They're probably doing some hockey stuff already too. They probably didn't want to mess with that, even if college guys are eligible. But I'm not sure. I do want to look into that. John Breland going to be on the bench this season. Love Sarge. Gotta love Sarge. OG legend. 3 cups. What more can you say? Now he's going to be a little more visible on that bench. Jay Snow, most guys with that type of physicality can contribute these days. McDermott's basically a zero besides fighting. Yeah, I mean, it is hard. Thank you. Yeah, school started. Yeah, I'm very curious to see who gets the start in net on Sunday. Could it be Bennett, the monster? I saw him at development camp as well, and I put up a little video of him. Yeah, I got to finish building the studio, guys. It's been barren for too long. I just haven't really committed to any one of the ideas that I have, but I think I'm just going to make it very similar to the other one. I mean, I had some other ideas, but we'll see. It will definitely be done before regular season. I told myself this cannot go on. I didn't want it to even go on into preseason, but preseason's pretty damn close, so it should not it's just got to get done. Jay Snow, people want to trade for Quinn this year. I think that's a bad idea. Oh man, now you guys are getting some juicy. Trading for Quinn now, listen, it's a tough one. I can make the argument for both. In the end, there is a tremendous value to having Quinn Hughes on this team now, obviously, as opposed to in 2 years from now when he becomes a free agent. There is tremendous value in that. Definitely improves the team. Does it make us a true cup contender? I can't say for sure. You'd like to think that it could help push you closer to that, but it still wouldn't be cheap to trade for him whatsoever. And so I'm all about, you guys know, I'm all about trading future pieces, like give him picks and whatever. I don't give a crap, but I feel like you're going to have to part with at least a roster player at a minimum, at least one, to get a guy like Quinn Hughes. And so like what roster player realistically would Vancouver want in a potential deal? And I'd have to believe, I mean, they're going to ask for ridiculous stuff, right? I mean, they're going to start asking for Bratter and, crazy stuff. That's really kind of their starting point. And you tell them that they're delusional and on hallucinogenic drugs and it's not happening. And then you hopefully settle at something like multiple firsts and Nemitz and maybe something else. And like, yeah, that is, would I do that? I don't know. But I think it would take at a minimum something along those lines to get him. And I would prefer probably to hold off until he's a free agent in 2 years. But I wouldn't be against getting him now if the price was right. I mean, that's the ultimate win now move. That's really trying to win now. Getting a guy like Quinn Hughes without gutting your core, which I don't think they would at all. That's a super win now move. But at worst case, I think he's here in 2 years. I really do. Assuming they don't botch this Luke deal and he's signed long-term, it's like, okay, he signed here long-term. Jack has 5 years left. When Jack's eligible, hopefully he extends. And then hopefully Quinn is here for a while too. Oh, yeah, I missed a couple things here. Sorry, guys. Sorry. John, I said let Bennett take the net. That way all 3 goalies had a turn in net this challenge tournament. Yeah, I could see that logic. But Bennett is also not that close to making the NHL. So I always favor seeing the guys that are closer. But I wouldn't be mad at seeing Bennett in there. Zebra, you should make a video of setting it up. I don't know. I don't think it'd be that interesting of a video. Setting it up. I mean, do people really want to see that? I mean, I thought about showing some of the stuff that I'm looking through. I will say, obviously, you guys know I do have a very large Devils memorabilia collection, and I've spent hours over the past few weeks just kind of sifting through a bunch of different memorabilia, whether it's programs or goal pucks or, signed photos, just tons and tons of crap that I'm like, what is studio worthy? What is not? Well, there'll probably be a lot more stuff in the studio that you can't see, but I'm really trying to focus on the curation of the stuff that you will see. So what is going to go in the studio set, but I'm getting closer. It's a mental hurdle for me. Maria says, set it up like you did before, then decide later. Maybe. But if I'm talking about hanging crap on the walls, it's annoying. I don't know. I'm kind of OCD about it, Maria. Hopefully soon I just hammer it out. Tasha just joined. I was out and didn't get to see the game. I know the end result, but what happened? Who are the bright spots? Tasha, Jakub Malek in net, 26 saves on 28 shots. Lachance continued to do his thing, using the size, goal and an assist. Beautiful batted goal out of the air on the power play. Karabas was buzzing all over the place. Hameenaho with a nice goal. Do floating shelves. I'm kind of lazy and I have a lot of framed stuff. So I thought about like an open bookcase or something, but like all this stuff's annoying. I just kind of want it to be over with and not have to think about it. John, I just see your comment on the bottom. They play Sunday at 12 o'clock is the third and final game, John. Sunday at 12 against the Bruins. Floating shelves, not a bad idea, but it's just, I also don't like to want to have to dust stuff. And then like, if I did floating shelves, you wouldn't really be able to tell what it is because it's small. There's a whole bunch of things that go on in my mind. A couple of my friends are like, just put like like the not a green screen, but just like a kind of drape kind of background, which I thought about it just because it's like the lazy thing to do, but I feel like that's kind of boring. If there's just like a big banner kind of behind me, I don't know. Jason, no, we don't have enough forward depth to trade anyone. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's like, what are you giving? I could see them possibly trying to snag a guy like Mercer after being told no to, Nico or Bratter. But I'm fine with waiting the 2 years. But if there is a sensible deal to be had, it has to be explored. Zebra, what do you think about Fleury signing with the Pens for a preseason game? I think that's friggin' awesome. I wish they did something like that with Marty. It's a shame the way his career ended with the Devils and we had to see him in a Blues jersey. But the Fleury signing with the Pens for a preseason game, phenomenal. Class move by the Pens. How can you not like Flower? I mean, one of the probably the most likable guys in NHL history. I mean, my God, who doesn't like Flower? And I'm sure the fans are going to go ballistic for it. I'm sure that might be one of their hotter tickets of the year. I'm curious if he's actually going to start the game and like play the whole thing, or how serious. I mean, it's a preseason game. Like, don't take, for a guy like Flower, you should let him play the whole thing. I am curious to see how that goes, but a very cool idea, and more teams should do stuff like that. Jason, someone from a Devils podcast mentioned Timo. No way I'm doing that. The Devils aren't. That's ridiculous. Timo and a deal for Quinn Hughes. It's absurd. Completely absurd. He's retiring a Pen. This is their way of saying he may retire as a Pen. I mean, if he is retiring as a Pen and playing the preseason game, it's awesome. Pyro says, if I was Vancouver, I'd ask for Heischer in the deal. Yeah, and then if I was Fitz, I'd hang up on them. Ridiculous. Tasha could see us getting Quinn at the deadline next season 100%. Oof, that would be interesting. I mean, I think Vancouver is crazy to not trade him now. His value is not going up. But I do think he's going to be a Devil one way or another. Jason, JT Miller went for a first and a starting center, and the Canucks had no leverage with his no move clause. Dun, dun, dun. Robbie, centers are weakness. Oh, yeah, the Nikos is out of the question. I mean, it's ridiculous. No one would even – it's not even a thing to even discuss as realistic. Yeah. Tasha, I think Lachance should make the roster over Hameenaho. Well, there's so many variables to that. I mean, in a vacuum, I do like Lachance's game more just because it's a little bit more of a variety pack. And some of those elements, like I said, size, grit, snarl, competitive nature, and great hands. Lachance is a guy that I'm rooting big time for, obviously. I personally would rather him over Hameenaho too, but it's still super early in this kind of overall preseason for them. We've seen 2 prospect challenge games. Like, let's see what happens in camp, what happens in the preseason in the NHL. Hameenaho seems legit as well. Woodson, Luke wanting 5 years, says he's gone with Jack if the Devils team doesn't compete for a cup, just telling it like it is. I mean, Who would dispute that? If they gave him a 5-year deal, that's exactly, or if he's looking for one, that's exactly the reason why. I don't know that it necessarily means a lot of people kind of turned it into, oh, he definitely wants to leave. I definitely don't think that's the case. I think it's way too early. I just think that he is looking to put himself in the position to be able to bail if they feel like that's something they want to do. And again, I can't blame the kid. I can't blame him or any player in any scenario. If you're on a team that kind of has a nice starting point or bank of talent, and you feel like the team is not ran properly or whatever, it's your prerogative to want out. And if I was Luke, I would have tried to get a 5-year deal too. Imagine people will go nuts if they announce it and it is a 5-year deal. I just can't see it happening. But I can't blame him for trying. Bobby, if Glass gets hurt, which is inevitable, I can see Lachance replacing him. Also, what are your thoughts on Squires? I like Squires. Very young, probably needs to bulk up a little bit as well. But 20 years old, he's been impressive every time I've seen him. I've seen him at, I think, a couple development camps now. He's got some moves, obviously looking to be an NHL player probably in a couple years, I would say. Yeah, I think he played very few games, I think, in Utica last year after finishing up his junior. It's going to be a big year for him in the AHL with Utica this year. Well, who knows? Maybe he dominates and we see him fight for a spot next year or command a spot next year. But I do like Squires and Lachance. I'm a Lachance super fan, guys. Reaper Crew Garage. So we signing Mikey in October. The Devils are not going anywhere near him. I'm curious to see if any of those guys get contracts. I think Carter Hart, obviously, because he's a goalie, has the best chance, but the Devils will not be reaching out to any of those guys, including Mikey. John said, well, Quinn did say, depending on the outcome of the season in Vancouver, will depend on what he does next. He's out, man. He's out of there. I heard about, so John, you see the picture of Nico working out, Captain Look Jack. I didn't see the photo. Where's the photo? I heard them talking about it, but I have not seen the photo yet. Tasha, no top 6 player for Quinn, just borderline. We already have gaping holes in the top 6. It would be suicidal to create more. Completely agree. SJ Sabres had hella first-round picks in that game, too. Yeah, I mean, the Sabres prospects look pretty good. Pyro, as much as the 5-year deal would be a busted lip, I hope it'd be as good of a signal to management fits to stop fucking around. I just can't see it happening. The 5-year deal would be crazy. I mean, wow. Then you're talking about, yeah, that's just giving them way too much leverage. If Fitz did sign Luke to a 5-year, if they don't win by year 4, you trade both use. What a messy situation that'd be. Tosh, I think the Luke deal has to happen within the next 3 days. I think it's going to get announced very soon. I mean, camp opens up in 5 days. Running out of time here. Pyro, no more Kakinen situation, Hughes injury. What do you mean by Kakinen situation? Woodson, bridge Luke for 3. He's not proven anything. I mean, obviously with the potential long-term deal of Woodson, you're taking a gamble. But, do you not believe he's going to be good? Do you not believe he's going to be worth, 10, 11 million bucks with the cap going up in the next couple years? I mean, I don't know. Robbie, if the cost is Nemitz or Salayev, roster player and a first to get Quinn here 2 years earlier, worth it? Probably. Steve Price, absolutely. Wow. Nemitz or Salayev, roster player and a first. It depends on the roster player. I mean, these are like, yeah, these would hurt to do. But if you're talking okay, Nemitz or Salayev, yeah, who's the roster player? That's the key in that one. And I would probably do it because I'm nuts. Win now. A lot of people probably would not pay that price, but I think I would, depending on who the roster player was. Score was 4-2, Jersey Roots. Devils win 4-2. I just saw your comment at the bottom. Robbie said wouldn't do it. Woodson, Luke can skate. Big deal. We have enough finger skaters. John, I will say the Sabres prospects play better than the actual Sabres. Well, you guys were joking about that the Devils prospects are playing better than the Devils too, but totally different world. Bobby, it's not going to happen. I agree with you, but I'd love to re-sign Motor Mike at league minimum. Our bottom six to instantly become a top 5 in the league. I think that's, in a world where McLeod was the exact player and, the type of production or what he was anticipated to do that year and before he left, if he returned to that, would that be true? Maybe. But there's a very good chance that, that guy's gone. He hasn't played in the league in a couple of years now. And there's a chance that he can never replicate that again. I'm curious to see if he gets a chance, what he looks like in the league. Tasha, I don't think this is a 5-year deal because it's taken long to sort out, and Fitz, I'd assume, push back on 5 years. You would have to assume. Rapid Blue is a new black. Ace, I'm confused as to why many people say we don't have a third-line center. Paul Cotter is a center. He was in Vegas, and I thought at times the Devils as well. Jack, Nico, Cotter, and Glass, done. Again, you could put Mercer in that group as well. They're guys that have played center, but have been primarily wingers in their career. And Cotter, I think he played a game maybe or two last year as a center, and Mercer, I think a little bit with all the injuries and stuff. But I think on an ideal lineup for the Devils, Cotter and Mercer probably are both slotted as wingers. With injuries and things, could we see Cotter or Mercer play center? I think there's a good chance. I just don't know. I think as the season unfolds, we're going to see different things tested out. But I think Mercer should stay on the wing. But yeah, our center depth is not great. Zebra Games, where do you buy your game used items? Pucks are insane from Fanatics. I want to get me hands on some stuff. Yeah, game used stuff's not cheap, my friend. It's a dangerously expensive hobby. But email me and I'll see what help I could throw your way if I can. But there's tons of not tons, but there's places to find stuff. Oh yeah, that was not getting a goalie. Brutal. Jersey Roots, what's going on? AO, Paisan, and all the other dirty devil barbarians. What's up, Jersey Roots? Woodson says he's nowhere on the planet of a top D-man that Quinn is. I agree with that. Woodson, we have a Luke clone and Casey for a third of the price. We could actually afford our top 6 that we've been needing for the last 15 years. Woodson, but do you think they're not gonna sign him? I don't know what you think. Not to mention, Casey is definitely not a Luke clone. Luke is substantially bigger, longer, and so I understand. Yeah, I would say, if you're being fair, I would say, is Casey a smaller puck-moving defenseman? Yes, but he's not a Luke clone. Luke's not the most physically intimidating guy by any stretch of the imagination, but he is long and lanky, and he uses that reach with his stick to break up plays quite often, and did get much better defensively than he was in years prior. So I have to be fair to Luke, and I can't say that Casey is a Luke clone, but I do like Casey. But yeah, he's 100% not a Luke clone. That's borderline disrespectful, in my opinion. Robbie's bench boss for salary. Dylan, Pesci, or Mercer, assuming Vancouver. Oh, God, we're still talking about the hypothetical Quinn deal. Traveling. What's up, Traveling? Fitz folds one day into preseason. You think this goes into the preseason through camp? Oh, my God. If Luke misses camp, that would be brutal. Yeah, Mercer did say that he's more comfortable at wing. Tasha said Casey is not as defensively responsible and absolutely gets walked. He needs to get bigger before he's an NHL regular. Yeah, Luke is just, it's definitely not the same. Woodson says Marty has a better chance of being signed to the Devils than Motor Mike. Move on. I agree. It's just not going to happen. I don't know why people don't just understand that. It is what it is. Jersey Roots, give me a like and subscribe, you dirty animals. Thanks. Rapid Blue is the new black. I agree Mercer should stay on the wing. That's where he's comfortable. Side note, I like Mercer. I feel he gets some unnecessary hate. Completely agree. I actually did a video about Mercer, I don't know, like a week ago. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But I talk about him in depth. I'm a Mercer fan. I think he does get a lot of unnecessary kind of hatred because primarily I think people just expect too much. But he does a little bit of everything. You need guys like him to win. Jason has to stop. You can't compare Luke and Casey. Trav, when it's not time to give up on Luke, kid's got to bulk up ASAP. I think Luke's going to be a good one, guys. I really do. I mean, he's already good, and he's 22 years old. Like, he's going to get better. Woodson, what's up, people? I have to get everyone ready for the dooming. I don't think you can compare Luke and Casey either. Woodson says Luke does nothing for me other than skate. I mean, come on, man. Tasha, if Luke misses camp, then he'll officially have not gone to 2 training camps under Keefe. Yeah, that's correct. Injured last training camp and potentially dealing with a contract squabble. A contract squabble this year would be terrible. Pyro, hey Ace, I was reading an article where it said something like if it wasn't for Brodeur, NJD would be in Nashville, and that's why he's the Devils' GOAT. Agree. No. I don't agree. I don't know where you read that, but I don't think the Devils were ever truly moving to Nashville. I think the former Devils owner, John McMullen, kind of used them as a ploy, essentially, to get a more favorable deal from the New Jersey Sports Exposition Authority for the lease on the old arena. I think that's really what that was. It was just a calculated chess move by McMullen to get a better deal, and it worked. I really don't think he was ever considering really moving the Devils to Nashville. Who the hell knows? But that's kind of a lot of people kind of, I think, are on board with that it was just basically like a shrewd kind of business thing. But the Devils won the Cup in 95, and that summer it was still a rumor. So it wasn't a rumor like because they were bad or anything. Woodson's brutal. Bobby says our top line should be Cotter, Jack, Bratter. I'd love to see Cotter get a crack at it. Would love it. Can he seize it? Give him a couple games. I would love to see it. I saw Cotter at the Marty golf tournament, and I was telling him if he gets a shot at the top 6 that he's got to run with it and stick. He's down. He's looking forward to the challenge. Woodson, the Hughes brothers don't need camp. It's obvious they don't work out as it is, and they might get hurt. Oh, man. Jay Snow said, Woodson, Jack got ripped. Zebra, exactly a year ago, you made the video about Luke and the sling. It's Luke something every year. It happens, man. Hopefully this is the year we get 82 out of both of them. Woodson said Jack wouldn't get to 220 if he ate only Twinkies for the entire summer. I mean, 220 might be excessive. Nico's only dropped the gloves once. I don't need Nico to fight or want him to. Let other guys deal with that. Metalander, go check out Trey's interview with Bastion. Instead of sorry for the poor performance, he says, sometimes I wonder if the Devils fans don't realize how lucky they are. We are built wrong. What? I've been meaning to watch that. I haven't seen it yet. I've been kind of busy the past couple weeks this summer, but I did see that he was on Locked On Devils with Trey. I did want to watch it, but I'm going to have to watch this now. He wonders if the Devils fans don't realize how lucky they are. How lucky they are about what? Bobby says, you see Nico's video. According to Jack, he put on some serious mass this offseason. I haven't seen the video, but I heard about this. I'm going to have to go check it out. Traveling, try to imagine life without the Devils after a relocation. That would have been crazy. Tasha, whose team are you on for the Marty golf tournament? We were with Travis Zajac and Maddie. It was a good time. Testosterone and Debo Watson. Rapid Blue is a new black. Cotter's got the silky mitts to play with Jack and Brat. He deserves at least a few games. Give him a chance. I think a lot of guys are going to get a chance. I think a lot of guys are going to get a chance to claim that spot, and hopefully he could perform if he gets one. What's going on, James? Yes, it is a live stream. Jason, I'm not going to lie. Jack might have lost weight. Oh, boy. Bobby says, I would make some serious trades to land Pasta since we were talking hypothetically. I love Pasta. I can't see that being a realistic move either. I think they're all in and just waiting for the Quinn Hughes thing. But Woodson says, Jack, Dougie, and Luke, 2 of 3 on IR by Christmas. Oh, man. You are such a jinx, Woodson. 2 of the 3 on IR by Christmas. Oh, my God. That'd be terrible. Corey, what's going on? Just picked up a copy of Chell 26. Time to put on my GM cap and get rid of Blount and Dougie. James, just popping in. Did you hear McLeod is allowed to play in the NHL again after December? Your thoughts? My thoughts is good luck to those guys to get contracts somewhere. I don't think it's going to happen for probably I think Carter Hart will get a deal. I think one team will say, we need a goalie so badly that we will deal with the potential backlash of signing one of these guys. But for that reason, the Devils will not entertain McLeod. And I think a lot of other teams probably would not as well. But I am curious to see, if these guys do get deals anywhere and they can't play till December, which is kind of weird. So they can't even, go to training camps. It'll be an interesting thing to see, but I think Hart gets a deal. Robbie's bench boss, looking forward to seeing 200-pound Nico in action this year. Shimon getting ripped too. Hope that inspires the Hughes brothers when they are injured to bulk up. Yeah, everyone should bulk up. I'm curious to see what Mercer looks like. But I saw the pictures of Nemitz. You guys are talking about Nico. I did hear all the stuff the other day. That's 2 key players putting on some mass, and hopefully everyone else just continues. Tasha, I'm probably most excited to see Nemitz play the season, hoping for a breakout year. I think it could be. Woodson, Shimon is our best future defenseman. The only thing that will be fun to watch this year. Man, that's the only thing. But yeah, Nemitz looked like the Hulk in some of those photos from a couple weeks ago. Meadowlander, Nashville was never going to happen. The fear was that the Yankees were coming to NJ and the Devils' priority would fall. They got the concessions they wanted. Nashville was a hoax. I thought so too. Pasta would be great. Tasha, Fitz said that now that Jack's run into his man body and gotten both shoulders done, he'll be fine. We could only hope. We could only hope because we need 82 games played from him or damn close to it. I mean, 70, 78, maybe a couple little small things. 78 games played would be nice. And if that could happen, I have to believe that he will be pushing for close to a 100-point season, assuming that Bratter stays healthy too. If the 2 of them stay healthy, I think they could both be 90-plus point players. But we shall see. Woodson says, I don't make predictions. I look at past history. Oh, boy. Hart to Edmonton makes obviously all the sense in the world. They desperately need goaltending. I'm sure McDavid is furious about it. 2 years in a row, losing at the hands of the almighty Florida Panthers, the gold standard of the league. What a franchise. Imagine how great it must be to be a Panthers fan right now. You went to the Cup Finals and lost, and then you just won 2 in a row. You've been to the finals 3 years in a row. You've watched your team play meaningful playoff hockey games into June for 3 seasons in a row. Some of the people down there are probably newer hockey fans that don't even know how good they really have it. I mean, it's crazy. 3 finals appearances, back-to-back Cup champions, and having guys sign team-friendly deals to stay there. I mean, wow. What a time to be a Florida Panther fan. Hart to Edmonton, I'd put $5 on it. Woodson, Jack definitely skips leg days. He gets tripped by air. Oh, my God. DM Sang says, Nico on the juice. Let's get all juiced. I don't think he's on the juice. He's probably just out there just hitting the off-season training hard. It's only negatives, roid raging in the grocery store. Woodson, I feel like keeping Dawes is smart. The odds Markey and Allen stay healthy for the entire season isn't great. Are you carrying him, Woodson? I mean, what else? You'd have to carry him, correct? I like Dawes, and I never saw the Allen thing coming. I thought he was going to take the money and bolt. I was fine with, accepting that and rolling with Markey and Dawes, and here we are. Kind of wild. I'd be curious what his trade value would be. I mean, there's got to be a team that would be interested. John, I know it's a bit early, but we've got to be more hyped and excited. Devils hockey returns in 9-10. Is that days? Bobby, a healthy Jack is easily a 100-point player. Shit, according to Rupp, a healthy Jack is better than Matthews. Yeah, I mean, that's Rupper being a homer. Gotta love Rupper. Game 7. Shout out to the Game 7 Stanley Cup Finals legend, Mike Rupp. That was funny. There was a lot of people talking about that online after it happened. Meadowlander, props to the late great Ken Dryden. 6 cups in an 8-year career, including 5 Vezinas. He had a cup in Conn Smythe before he won the Calder, the real GOAT. I can't give him the GOAT, but a very, very good player, obviously, in a different world. I mean, no one's going to win 6 cups in 8 years. It's just a ridiculous streak. But rest in peace to Ken Dryden. Yeah, definitely one of the greatest goaltenders of all time. Montreal Canadiens legend, Canada legend. Tasha, guys, all we can hope is that Fitz somehow convinces Luke to leave some meat on the bone so that they can get more Swiss jackknives, and Fitz will get to learn what depth scoring is. I'm so curious to see what this deal is going to look like. Traveling, I hope there are a lot of older Panthers fans still left. They waited a long time. Yeah, they did. They made it in 1996 and fell to a Colorado Avalanche team, which featured Patrick Waugh in net, Joe Sakic. Man, a young I'm trying to think of who are some of those other the lesser names on that team, but a young Peter Forsberg, and obviously Claude Lemieux, the 1995 Conn Smythe winner for your New Jersey Devils, Cup champ in 95 with the Devils, and then wins with the Avalanche in 96. Big Mac is still a Devil. Woodson, when teams gave Jack space, he was a top 5 player. Now they trap and he forces it. I don't see them carrying 3 goalies. I don't know. Who knows? At this point, I think Fitz is I think he has PTSD about anything involving goalies after that 23-24 season. Woodson's Dawes trade value is the same as Blackwood. Not great. Yeah, probably not. Corey, Lachance better have a contract being prepared as we speak. Kid has looked great. Yeah, I mean, he's been one of the better players for the baby Devils in this tournament. If the Devils have a bad October, we could be in deep shit. Yeah, the October schedule is brutal. They have to just find a way to get stack points and stack wins where they can, because a bad start could really put you behind the 8 ball for the whole season, and it sucks. Starting poorly would not be good. They got to have at least a decent start and get through the month of October where it lightens up a little bit. But October is brutal. Woodson says Luke could give the biggest home discount ever, and we still wouldn't have money as long as Dougie and Plot are on the team. Well, that's not forever, Woodson. At some point, they'll both not be here. Traveling Devils have to force the other team to lose composure game plan with physicality to open the ice for Jack. And he's also just got to get better at fighting through shit. But, I mean, obviously a great player. If he stays healthy, oh, man, would love to see it. 82 games, let's go. And hopefully eclipsing the 100-point mark. Meadowlander, I've been eavesdropping on a Canucks podcast. They are pipe dreaming about a Hughes reunion in Vancouver. It's simply not happening. I don't know what. Like, people are just delusional. It's just crazy. Jack is here for 5 more years. We're on the verge of signing Luke. Like, on what planet are they in the conversation even? Just because they have Quinn, you have one who wants out and has 2 years left on his deal, versus the team that has Jack signed up for 5 more years and about to sign Luke. I mean, but listen, Canucks fans are nuts. I've seen some ridiculous things from them in these past 6 months or so. Bobby, Devils will set a new franchise record with 119 points. That would certainly be something. A new franchise record, 119 points. I would love to see it. but I'd like to see them win multiple playoff rounds even more. That matters a lot more than regular season success. Rapid Blue is new black. The problem with trading Dawes now is that he has no value. We need to wait until midseason when a goalie gets injured on another team and they are desperate. This way we can get something back. Well, that would probably require carrying him on the roster at that point to even still have him around. Wooden said Dougie would be fine if he still had the bomb at the point on the point. I'm hoping that the lack of it was last year was maybe he still wasn't fully healed. I'm hoping in my most hopeful of minds that he's fully healed up now and we see the bomb come back. But I am afraid that might be a thing of extinction, and his new weapon is going to be that snapper or the wrister picking corners. But the bomb certainly was not really there last year. Yeah, it's gone. Last year was taking risks from the point. It could be. I'm hoping, though, again, that it was injury related and now he's good to go. Dougie's just a super lazy defender with a good wrist shot. Corey, also, I miss the days when guys didn't have no trade clauses. It really handcuffs a team. Or you could just refuse to give them out with the frequency that the Devils have handed them out. I mean, a lot of guys, you kind of need it to get a deal done, but I just feel like it is excessive in New Jersey. A lot of guys are never the same after the procedure. What is that? Faye, I do miss a nice Dougie bomb from the point. Woodson, Jack, Luke, and Quinn will all go to Carolina because they want to win. Metalander, I would just be happy if we come out of a bitch of October schedule at 500. I'd hope a little more than that, but 500 at worst is kind of where you need to be with that disastrous opening month. What a month. Woods is not like the Devils will ever beat Carolina. Hopefully they eventually get over that hump, man. They can't beat us forever. At some point, we're going to have to take them out. I don't know when, and I don't know how, but one day the Devils will get their revenge on the evil Carolina Hurricanes for the years that they've owned us. Jay Snow, if his clapper's gone, he's worthless on the power play because no one respects his shot. Well, they still should because that wrister is pretty sick. Yeah, the pec injury. Woodson says his SST blocked already, asking for a friend. No. I don't got anything else, but I'm pumped. Devils 2-0. Devils 2-0 in the Prospects Challenge. Another big win. Things to be excited about. Lachance, Hameenaho, Malek look sharp. Lachance, guys, I'm really rooting for the kid. Really rooting for the kid. Wait, the Devils, I think the first preseason game is that home one, right? Let me just double check some things here. Preseason puck returns to the Rock. No, that's what, the 21st? Yeah, the first two preseason games are home. Okay, so Sunday the 21st at 1 o'clock. Yeah, I mean, dude, talk about it's Devils Rangers, but still NFL Sunday at 1 o'clock. Like you couldn't put it on the Saturday night. Who knows? But the 21st, Sunday the 21st against the Rangers, 1 o'clock, and then Tuesday night, Tuesday the 23rd at 7 against the Isles. And there's going to be a lot on the line in these games, guys. A lot on the line for some of these guys. And he was here earlier. I'm convinced he went to bed. Carolina added Ehlers and Miller. That doesn't seem that impressive. They lost a lot of guys last offseason too, and people were picking them to slip. And again, they had a pretty decent season. And they were good enough to crush us. John Fay, Woodson will get past the hump that is Carolina eventually. Yeah, eventually. Hopefully before I croak. I want to beat the Canes and win the cup. It would be great if we did it in the same playoff run this season. Knock the Canes out en route to winning the cup. But I'd be happy with just winning the cup. I don't have to knock the Canes out per se. Corey, do you think we could put something together to get Kaprizov? Absolutely not. We don't. There's zero chance. Zero chance we get Kaprizov. I'm not even going to explain. No on so many levels. Jay Snow, Luke deal gets done this week. Woodson, if you watch Devils hockey for 25 years, you know the horrors the Canes have brought us. Yeah. Horrors. Faye, true, but still sooner or later we'll get over the hump. Everyone gets over that hump at some point in their life. Maybe not in our life, or maybe not in mine. Kaprizov was no. There's no chance. So no, I'm not saying they're going to slip. I'm just not a big fan of Ehlers or Miller. No, but somehow, some way, under Hot Rod Brendamore, they're a competitive team every single year, and I will never count them out of it, ever. Just know they had so much cap. Those aren't the moves I would have made. Metalander, you got to love Billy Guerin. If you reject the offer, send me your trade list. Kaprizov, I love it. I talked about this earlier, Metalander. Love Billy Guerin. Loved him as a player. Kind of sucked when we lost him. I wish he could have been a lifelong Devil, and he's put together quite the career after playing in the executive world. John Fay, 16 million, no thanks. I mean, he's a good player, no thanks. Hard no thanks. Collect records, Luke deal done by Tuesday. Philly is 1,000% taking heart back. Those mutant fans may even throw him a parade. I don't know if he'd even want to go back there after this whole thing, but who knows? I think there'll be a bunch of teams trying to get Hart. Luke deal by Tuesday. I would like it. Metal Anderson, a lot of chatter about Crosby to the Habs. Oof. I don't think Sid wants to leave the Pens. I could be wrong there. And if he was going to leave the Pens, I always thought that it would 100% be Colorado to play with his boy Nate Dogg, which would be just a filthy, filthy combo. I could see Montreal. I don't know. It'd just be weird to see Sid, honestly, in any other jersey. And I think he just wants to be a Pen for life. Woodson says, Lindy holds the key. Tage is the only one that could save us. Would love Tage Thompson. We talked about that. Yeah, or Tuck. I mean, Tage seems so super pipe dreamy, but Tuck, I feel like Tuck it's not that much of a pipe dream. John Fay, collect records, Hart to Edmonton. Tage and Tuck. Just give me one or the other. Obviously, I'd rather have Tage, but I would be smitten to get Tuck. Traveling, Rags, Phillies, Canes, Avs, Devils lift the cup. That'd be a good rag. Oh, I guess the path. Okay. Sorry, Traveling. Took me a minute. It's been a long day. Yeah, knock out the Rangers, Flyers, then the Canes in the conference finals, then the Avs in the finals, getting retribution for 0-1. That's probably the perfect path. Traveling. I think the only thing is I do hate the Canes, but I would probably put them in the second round and put the Rangers in the Eastern Conference Finals so that we could, knock them out in the conference final again. But outside of that, love the list. Tasha, would we all do a Dougie for Tage deal plus Casey and a few first? Probably. I think anyone would sign up for that. I don't think Buffalo would, but I mean, yeah. On what planet are you not doing that? Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Fitz should go after Tuck hard. Talked about that months ago. He should, but, I would trade everybody for Tage and Tuck. Sell the farm. Crosby to Habs is, man, I don't care as long as the rumors aren't McDavid to the Rangers. Oof. McDavid to the Rangers would make me physically ill. Seeing Connor McDavid in a Rangers jersey would certainly make me ill. And I hope he just stays in Edmonton, personally. But I could totally see it. All the sponsorships and all the business crap that would come out of McDavid, and it'd be great for the league too. McDavid on Broadway, Bettman would love it. 10 years of first rounders win now. Mark, says Ehlers has over 500 points in over 600 games and is a plus 106 over his career. I wouldn't call that unimpressive. No, it's definitely, his numbers are good. People were talking about trying to get him way back when, and he was just never a guy that I was super into personally. I thought there's always other guys out there I'd rather target, but obviously if you could get a guy like that, who's going to be like, oh no. Corey says Hamilton, Siegs, Mercer, and a first for Quinn. Oof, that would hurt us a lot. That would hurt us a lot, in my opinion. Anson says, what's the latest word on McLeod? Any chance? No chance, Anson. He'll be looking for a deal somewhere, but it's not coming from the Devils. Collect Records, is Buff ready to shake it up yet? Still hoping for Tuck, even for next year. There was a rumor they were trying to sign him long-term, too. I don't know. Just get me any big physical winger that could score, and Tuck would be nice. Doubtful. Ehlers never had a 30-goal season. Woodson Motormike is playing the beer league this year. Jason, no, I didn't say he's bad, but he's not the type of player I want. I agree. Travelin says Bratt was ranked higher than Brady in an NHL best player list. Was it the best player list or the best winger list? Anyone got anything else? Anyone got anything else? Has McTavish signed yet? Actually, I don't think so. I think he's a Pat Brisson client too. Yeah, Pat Brisson playing hardball with everybody. No deal for him yet. Woodson said I'd trade Bratt for Brady in a second. Mark, I could see Crosby going to a Canadian team to get a chance to bring a cup to the Great White North after a 35-year drought. It's possible, but I still think he really values being a lifelong Pen. I always fantasized about the Devils trying to get him. Obviously, that would never happen. But even an old Sid, I would do wild things to get him on the Devils. Tasha says I wouldn't. Brady doesn't get as many points, and as a result, Jack probably wouldn't do as well. Tasha McTavish is interesting. I don't think he's going to end up staying in Anaheim. I think he's going to end up signing a long-term deal there, if I had to guess. Woodson said Jack might survive more than 50 games, though. Tasha, maybe, or we could just trade a top 6 power forward. Trade for a top 6 power forward without getting rid of Bratt. Just a thought. That'd be the ideal for me. Jason, no, you're putting a wax figure of a New Jersey Devil in the glass case. No, it has shelves. I don't know if you remember, but like in the old studio, I had this mask. Peter Sidorkowitz, by the way. I'm sure many of you have already seen this, but this was his Albany River Rats mask that he actually did wear in one period of a New Jersey Devils game in backup relief. But like I was going to put this was in there in that case in the old studio. Had a bunch of bobbleheads, pucks. I don't know, maybe some gloves. This is another old school classic, the old NJ Devil, the giveaway from Continental in like 02 or 03. This thing's almost like 20-something years old. Yeesh. Old school throwback pieces. The old school Marty. This is a Marty, I think, from like 02 or 03 with the flip mask. but pretty stunning, accurate details on the mask here for especially when this came out. This was the thing they gave this away in like 02 or 03. One of my favorites. Probably if I had to pick my one favorite bobblehead, it probably would be this one. The original Marty giveaway. Got the Jack Hughes USA. This is a nice one. Little Jack Hughes USA from his national team days. What else is in here? There's crap everywhere. I don't know. But yeah, it's all the stuff going in the case. There's a lot of stuff to wade through. So I was just trying to really figure this out. Jay Snow, I forgot was in there. There's a bunch of stuff. Yeah, the 03 Marty one's awesome. I like that. DM Sanks, bring back the puck mascot. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're all in on NJ. Tasha, that's right. We should all congratulate NJ Devils legend Brian Dumoulin on making it to the Stanley Cup final and losing this coming season because he signed with the new Corey Perry Kings. Dumoulin had a great playoff for us, and he got paid as a result. Good for him. USA Jack is cool. Jay Snow, how many bobbleheads you have? Like 100? If you're talking about Devils bobbleheads, I don't know. I'd have to count them. Probably 40-ish. Robbie's bench boss, bring back giveaways, HBSE, cheap asses. I've been very disappointed in the quantity of giveaways for years now, and I think they are paid for by sponsors, but like bobbleheads are just a cheat code. Like everyone loves bobbleheads, and people buy tickets. I'm just pulling the ones that I have here. Obviously, this was the Timo time clock bobblehead. This was the Dougie one from a couple years ago. I think I have every one they ever gave away, like in the history of the team. It's not nearly as many as you'd think, but I have everyone in the history of the team. And in an older, it wasn't a studio, it was just kind of like a Devil's den. Years ago, I had them all set up in something. They haven't announced them yet, Tasha. I believe they will announce giveaways. They always have at least like 5 or so. And I'd expect that to be coming in the upcoming weeks. Add some red lights to the studio, make it saucy. Yeah, I have to get the lighting. It's all part of the rebuild. And I need to get it done before, what do I have? Probably about a little less than a month for the regular, not the home opener, but the regular, the road opener. We open up on the road. I want to have it done by then. I got to get cracking. Arlette ended up with a signed card in the latest Upper Deck hockey card set. I did see that. That was pretty cool. Shout out to Arlette. I've talked to her plenty of times. A very nice woman, part of New Jersey Devils history. Anson, you need an NJ Devil mascot head to wear on special occasions. Yeah, maybe the team will let me borrow one. Traveling, I do have a putty. It's just not on display. I do have a putty, though. I would like a putty bobblehead or maybe an Arlette bobblehead. Well, an Arlette one doesn't exist, but putty is out there. Tasha, I got tickets to the last game against the Wings just for the marquee bobblehead. I mean, it is one of the most popular giveaways across sports, period. The phenomenon, I remember it started, I want to say it was around like 99 or 2000, and it started with baseball, and then it kind of cascaded into every sport where bobbleheads were just like a craze. And yeah, the Devils bobblehead nights are wildly popular, and for a team that likes to make money and sell tickets, make more bobblehead games. You'll get increased sales for some of those less desirable games. You know, during earlier in the season on Tuesday, Wednesday nights against teams that people may not care to see, you know, a Tuesday night against the Flames isn't going to excite most people. but you put a bobblehead on there, and people are buying tickets. What other ones do I have over here? I do have the marquee from the last game of the season. I didn't open that yet. So there's a Jack one from a few years ago. These are like, it is crazy. Like everything else in life, these are like smaller and crappier than the old ones. Like it's still cool, but like the old ones are like heavier and just better quality. Case in point, Traveling says I used to fly up for bobblehead nights. Pisses me off they stopped doing it. Yeah, that's bobbleheads are such a great promotion that you flew up for it. Putty's a god. What a legend. I got lucky and won a putty on a Goodwill auction. Very nice. Jason, no, baseball gives away a lot of stuff, jerseys and stuff. Yeah, baseball has so many games. They need to hopefully do more. Tasha, I love the random Tuesday night games, weekday games where it's at. The ticket prices are great. Oh, I know. Devils need to give away basketball jersey and football jersey night. I mean, let's get the bobbleheads, but I'll take any cool giveaways. Last year, I think they had a hat, they had the Palat thing. Traveling, do you have the box set? Oh yeah, of course I have the box set. It's what is it? Marty Langenbrunner, Zach. Who's the other one? Marty Langenbrunner, Zach. Was it Eliash? Is Patty the other one? D Dukes got here late. Just want to say, give me Lachance with Hughes and Brad. His net front game and size could be cooking with gas. Love Lachance. Talked about him at depth earlier on. I'm hoping for him to make the team. He needs a big camp and a big preseason. Zebra, I need to get my hands on Devils bobbleheads. Jay Snow, what's the seats where you get the buffet food? Any of the club seats. There's a million clubs throughout the arena, and they all have food. Sometimes different. But there's the Prudential Lounge. There's the Hyundai Club. I forget the one on the other side. That's the equivalent. There is the M Lounge. There is the Loft. There is the Pier. There's food everywhere. All the clubs have food. Trying the autograph puck night went away also. I thought they did that last year. Zebra. Speaking of bobbleheads, did you see the one for the Sharks? I did. It was the triple with Toffoli. It was like Toffoli, Smith, and Celebrini, the sleepover. What a great giveaway. One of the greatest bobbleheads I've ever seen. John Faytash, the only downside people have said about that plot Lego set, it's almost hard and impossible to put together. I've heard that as well. I don't have it. I don't like putting stuff together. I picked up Henrique and the Markstrom. Which club is the best? I would say it depends on what your preference is. There's pros and cons of each one. I have a great time in all of them. At this juncture, I've been in every club they have at some point, some more so than others. But I do like all of them, and there is different, kind of unique things about each one, and it kind of depends on what you're looking for personally in your club experience. Yeah, the Sharks marketing team is genius. Yeah, they definitely had at least one game traveling. Maybe one was Hockey Fights Cancer. I can't remember, but they did the mystery. They call it mystery pucks. I think there was 1 or 2 games. But honestly, I've seen photos of a lot of them. And it's like they have the guys using like dead paint pens and stuff. Like some really poor looking signed pucks. I wish there was better quality control. I would be militant. They should let me kind of run that for them. I'll make sure that the things are signed flawlessly with flowing ink on new markers so that your people aren't getting mystery pucks with crap. You know. You got a Mercer and a Bastion, and mystery pucks. Tosh, I didn't get one of the pucks, but I definitely remember hearing about it. I forget if I was at the game or not. They were $25 each or something. I'd say just get one from Sports Minded. Yeah, Sports Minded. Shout out to Sports Minded. Emily's the best. I've been going there for years. Sports Minded is a great place if you're looking for Devils stuff. They have the best signings. They actually have Cody Glass going there. I think. Let me see. Actually, it might be tomorrow. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. If you're interested in meeting Cody Glass and getting an autograph, Sports Minded Unlimited. He's there Sunday. I just put the link in the chat. Check it out. They do the best signings, and I'm sure they'll be getting a bunch more throughout the season. But for now, the first one on the docket of the season, Cody Glass, Sunday at Sports Minded. Anyone got anything else? I'm getting kind of bored. This is nice to have before the preseason and the regular season, but I'm just super fired up for preseason. And then I'll be fired up for the regular season. But preseason, this is a nice little precursor. Just kind of ease back into things. I'm a little rusty. And I'm in a new studio that's not complete. So there's a lot going on for me right now, guys. Bear with me. It's still the off. It's still, I guess, kind of overall preseason for me as well. And I'm trying to get used to some new things. But anyone have anything else before we end this joyous occasion on a night where your New Jersey Devils improved to 2-0 in the Prospects Challenge by beating the Buffalo Sabres Prospects by a score of 4-2? And Shane Lachance just being a menace all over the place. Wow. He needs a big camp and a big preseason. If he could play like this in the preseason, would love to see him bury some goals and drop the mitts a couple times. Just a preseason for the ages. John's so excited for hockey in general. I know that place is far. You talking about Buffalo? It is the pre-preseason. Hopefully the Prospects Challenge doesn't carry over a curse like the preseason curse. No, I don't think so. Hopefully we get past that. Our prospects are the shit. Well, they're playing very well. It shouldn't be since it's prospects. Yeah, I'm not going to get too excited about it. I'm just excited to see the guys that I'm looking for to do big things do well. Lachance, Hameenaho. Edwards has been pretty solid. Malek was solid in net. Is there anything else cool floating around here? I'm trying to think if there's anything else cool to show you guys before I. I got a throwback item. This is not going to mean a lot to most of you, but there's probably at least a couple of you in here that I know. Is this not the right one? Does anyone know who this man is? Does anyone know who? Can anyone identify this man? Anyone? Does anyone know who this man is? I don't think anyone's going to know. One of my buddies who's probably not watching would probably know. Does anyone know who this man is? I don't think anyone knows. No one knows. What are you guys fighting in the comments? Chance has surprised me with his mitts. No, it was not Peluso, Richard. It was not Peluso. It's a man with a great story that I'm hoping to bring to the channel, or at least an extended version of a story that's been out there. I'll see if anyone makes it this far in this on replay. Maybe someone in the comments will be able to correctly ID that man. Nope. All right, kids, that's it. It's been fun. And Meadowlander, I should have known Meadowlander would know, and he is correct. Danton, Mike Danton. Oof. Well, I have a great story about him, and I'm hoping to talk to him eventually. There's so much to talk to him about. But 2-0 in the Prospects Challenge, looking to take the tournament down and be tournament champs on Sunday at 12 o'clock. I will be back after that game for more of this as we get closer, just over a week away. John Fay, it's Sunday afternoon, my friend. The game's at 12, so this will probably be like 2:30 or whatever. But yeah, it's a Sunday afternoon. Terrible that they do that on an NFL Sunday. But it is what it is. All right, guys. Thank you all for joining. I'll be back soon. Got a lot of things in the works. We're getting closer to preseason. I'm fired up. I am fired up. Let's see what the boys do in the third and final game. 12 o'clock, John. 12 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Let me just double check that. Now you got me questioning myself, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. So I will be on here at probably 2:30-ish or so. All right, that's it, guys. Thanks for joining. You're the hardcore of the hardcores. If you're on here in a post-game live show for a NHL Prospects Challenge, congratulations. You are officially hardcore. That's definitely the sign of a hardcore fan. But thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.